Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into something kind of different today?
Different is good,
I
huh?
think so, well,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking real estate, and even more so when we're talking REO properties.
REO properties, those are the ones banks end up with after, well, things don't go so well for the previous owner.
Foreclosures, right?
Exactly. And today we're zeroing in on McHenry County, Illinois.
Beautiful area, but definitely saw its share of ups and downs, especially back in 2008.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. 2008 hit a lot of places hard. But hey, that's why these REO properties can be so interesting.
Interesting how.
Well, think about it. Banks aren't in the business of holding on to houses. They want to get these properties off their
So
books.
they're motivated to sell.
Very
Right.
motivated. And that can translate into some pretty attractive prices for buyers.
Attractive, like how attractive?
Well, we've got some insights from Michael Linton. He's a
Mm,
commercial real estate expert who's been navigating the Chicago market for like forever.
you mean his website, chicagodealflow.com?
Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, he's saying you can sometimes find REOs in McHenry County going for 15, even 20% below market value.
Wow, that's a significant chunk of change.
It is. But gotta be careful. They're often sold as is.
As is. That sounds a little ominous.
Could be a bit of a fixer-upper. Yeah. Leaky faucet here, peeling paint there, maybe some interesting design choices left behind by the previous owner.
So maybe not move-in ready.
Depends on your definition of ready. You might need to roll up your sleeves a bit and maybe have a contractor on speed dial.
Okay, starting to see the appeal and the challenge here. But let's say I'm up for the challenge. Where do I even find these REO diamonds in the rough?
Multiple avenues. You've got your usual suspects online platforms, Zillow, Realtor.com, those kinds of places. Auction websites, too. Auction.com is a big one.
Makes sense. But wouldn't a good old-fashioned real estate agent be helpful here?
Absolutely. Especially ones specializing in foreclosures. They often have access to listings before they even hit those websites.
So insider info.
Exactly. Plus, they can help you navigate all the paperwork and legal stuff. Because, real estate transactions can get pretty hairy.
No kidding. But here's the question. McHenry County, you said it's leaning towards a seller's market now, right?
Yeah, it's finding its balance. But a seller's market usually means higher prices, tougher negotiations. So how does that play into the whole REO game?
Good point. Does that mean it's harder to snag a deal on an REO?
Not necessarily. Remember, banks are motivated sellers. They're not looking to squeeze every last penny out of these properties.
So there's still wiggle room.
Always some wiggle room in real estate.
I like the sound of that. But now I'm curious, how do these McHenry County REOs affect the bigger picture, like the entire Chicago real estate market?
Think of it like this. When REOs are handled well, it helps stabilize property values, prevents neighborhoods from declining.
So it's not just about the individual buyer and seller, it has a ripple effect.
Exactly. And for commercial real estate investors, REOs can be a gold mine. Think redevelopment, revitalization, potential for growth.
The whole McHenry County area benefits.
Hmm.
But hold on, you mentioned Illinois being a judicial foreclosure state. What does that even mean?
Ah, good catch. It basically means there's a whole legal process involved when a lender wants to foreclose on a property. It goes through the courts.
So there's not just a quick get out notice.
Nope. Can take several months, sometimes even longer, and that adds another layer of complexity to these REO transactions. And that's why a title search is super important.
A title search, is that like a background check for the house?
Kinda. It uncovers any liens, unpaid taxes, any legal issues that could make buying or selling the property a nightmare.
Sounds like a must-do then.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of protecting yourself, title insurance is highly recommended for REO purchases in Illinois.
So you're covered if something unexpected pops up later on.
You got it.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've gone from what is an REO to the nitty-gritty of the McHenry County market.
And we haven't even touched on the potential long-term effects of REOs on housing affordability. That's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah. Ooh, that sounds intriguing. But we'll save that for after a quick break. We'll be right back with more on McHenry County REOs.
Back again, ready to explore how these REOs could shape housing affordability in McHenry County.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. At first glance, it seems like more properties at lower prices would naturally make housing more affordable.
Right? It would seem that way, yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes things aren't as straightforward as they appear.
So what's the catch?
Well, those lower prices often come with a hidden cost repairs. Those REOs, remember, they're usually sold as is, and as is can mean a lot of work.
So that bargain price might not be such a bargain if I'm pouring money into renovations.
Exactly. And there's a potential domino effect, too. Imagine a wave of REOs hitting the market, especially in specific neighborhoods.
What happens then?
It can actually drive down property values for everyone in that area. Even folks who aren't facing foreclosure could see their home equity take a hit.
Whoa, so it's like a chain reaction, potentially with some pretty serious consequences.
It can be, yeah. So what can be done to, avoid those negative impacts? Responsible management is key.
Responsible management. Break that down for me. What does that look like?
Well, lenders need to step up their game. Instead of letting those properties sit empty and deteriorate, they need to take action, secure them, make essential repairs, and actively market them.
Makes sense.
Bravo.
A well-maintained property is going to be a lot more appealing to buyers, which means a faster sale, less pressure on surrounding property values, and maybe even a boost for the local economy.
Exactly. And this is where someone like Michael Linton, with his deep knowledge of the McHenry County market, can be incredibly valuable. He can guide those lenders, show them how to manage and sell these REOs effectively.
So it's about finding that balance, right? REOs can be great opportunities, but they have to be handled carefully to avoid those downsides.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the lenders. Local governments play a role, too.
Oh, right. They have a vested interest in keeping the community stable and thriving.
Exactly. They can implement policies to encourage responsible REO management, support homeowners facing foreclosure, and get behind community development projects that revitalize areas impacted by REOs.
So it's a team effort. Lenders, real estate pros like Michael Linton, and local governments all working together to navigate this complex landscape.
That's it. REOs, they're more than just individual properties. They're part of a bigger economic and social picture that needs careful thought and strategic action.
All right, we've talked risks, mitigation, but let's not forget the positive side. There are people out there looking for a good deal on a house, and REOs can provide that.
Absolutely. But as we've discussed, it's vital to go in with your eyes open, do your homework.
Work with experienced professionals, understand the potential risks and rewards. Got it.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to walk away from a deal if it doesn't feel right. There will always be other opportunities.
Solid advice. Now, for those really considering REO investing, what are some key takeaways, things to keep in mind?
Well, first off, REOs aren't for the faint of heart. They often require a substantial upfront investment, both time and money, and expertise is crucial.
So, not just watching a few episodes of Flip This House and jumping in.
Probably not the best approach. You need a deep understanding of the market, a grasp of construction costs, and a good handle on the legal side of things.
Yeah, okay, expertise checked. What else?
Patience. REO transactions, they can be lengthy, complex, often involving lots of different parties and, bureaucracy.
A marathon, not a sprint.
Got it.
Any final nuggets of wisdom from the seasoned Michael Linton?
Oh, yes. He stresses the importance of networking, building relationships with lenders, real estate agents, contractors, other professionals in the REO space. It can give you a real advantage.
So networking isn't just for LinkedIn anymore. It seems like success with REOs requires a blend of knowledge, patience, the right connections, and a bit of courage.
That's a great way to put it. And of course, thorough due diligence and risk assessment. Never forget those.
This has been a fascinating journey into the world of REO properties in McHenry County. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics to more advanced strategies, and honestly, I'm feeling inspired.
Me too. Hopefully our listeners are feeling empowered to explore the world of REO investing.
Absolutely. And remember, everyone, do your research, build your network, and approach each opportunity with that healthy dose of caution and due diligence. Maybe McHenry County will be your next real estate success story. Huge thanks to Michael Linton for his incredible insights, which you can find on his website, chicagodealflow.com. And to you, our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exciting exploration.
And we're back, ready to wrap things up on our McHenry County REO deep dive. We've talked about the potential, the risks, the market dynamics. A lot to unpack.
It is, yeah. But for those ready to, take that leap and explore the McHenry County market, let's talk strategy. Where do we begin?
Okay, let's say I'm all in on this REO idea. What are the first steps I should take?
Well, first things first, knowledge is power.
Right.
Always. So hit the books, study up.
Pretty much. Immerse yourself in the McHenry County market. What are property values like? What are the different neighborhoods? Track those REO trends.
So like scouting the terrain before I go exploring.
Exactly.
What are some good resources for that kind of market research?
You've got your online platforms. Zillow, Realtor.com, they can give you a pretty good overview. Current listings, pricing, even historical data.
But local knowledge is important too,
Yeah.
right? Like actually going there, seeing the properties, talking to
Oh,
people.
absolutely. Get a feel for the community, the vibe.
Speaking of connections, remember Michael Linton's advice about networking?
Yeah, super important. Building those relationships with the key players in the McHenry County REO market. That can open doors to opportunities you wouldn't find otherwise. Off-market deals, insider info, that kind of thing.
Sounds like it's all about who you know.
To some extent, yeah. But once you've got a good grasp of the market, it's time to figure out your strategy. What's your game plan?
Okay, so different approaches to this whole REO thing.
You got it. One popular one is the fix and flip. Buy an REO property, do the renovations, then sell it for a profit.
Classic. But sounds like a lot of work, and I'd need some serious renovation skills. Are there other options?
Sure. There's the buy and hold strategy. Buy the property, fix it up, then rent it out.
Ah, so passive income, building a real estate portfolio, that might be more my speed.
Could be. And of course, you can mix and match those strategies depending on your goals, your risk tolerance, your financial situation.
So it's all about finding what fits me best. But no matter what, due diligence is key, right?
Always, always, always. Inspect any property thoroughly, get a professional appraisal, have a real estate attorney look over all the paperwork.
Don't skip that title search either.
Definitely not. Knowledge is power, especially with REOs.
Well, I'd say we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of REOs to specific strategies for the McHenry County market.
We have, yeah.
I'm feeling pretty inspired, gotta say.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully our listeners are feeling the same way, ready to dive into the REO world.
Absolutely. Remember, everyone, do your research, build those connections, and approach each opportunity carefully with due diligence. Maybe McHenry County will be your next real estate success. A huge thank you to Michael Linton for his insights. You can find him at chicagodealflow.com. And to you, our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration.